welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo Sport. We're going to be showing you the highlights from the Group 2 race at the Redbull Ring in the FIA Nations Championship. So this round, I was having quite a lot of trouble. We did actually have to change our steering wheel over before the race because the gear shifting had broken on my P1 rim. That has been sent away now, and we're currently using the F1 rim. But this was our first day using the Formula rim, which was quite a bit different to the P1 rim, but we did get reasonably used to it. By this race, we managed to put it on P7. Now, this was an incredibly close qualifying at this track. Obviously, it always is at Redbull Ring, but you can see 20.9 still in P5, in P6 a 20.9, and myself in P7 also on a 20.9. You can see incredibly close. Look at the differences between the lap times as well. Like half a tenth would have possibly jumped you up 3 or 4 positions. So starting from P7, let's see if we can get ourselves a solid result in this race. Obviously, I was looking forward to this combination because Redbull Ring, quite a strong track for myself. Group 2, quite a strong combination for myself, really. But yeah, trying to get used to the Formula rim wasn't the easiest. But let's see if we can get ourselves some solid points in this race, starting from P7. So we've got that livery on, the flex tape livery as created after we had that conversation about tape. Yeah, it's strange conversations happen on these streams sometimes. So going into turn 1, trying to make sure that we do this nice and smooth and not losing the rear on that curve. Very easy to do. And now working our way through turn 2 and up into turn 3, technically turn 2 there. Or this corner here is technically turn 2, and then into turn 3, the very tight right hand corner, trying to make sure we brake earlier. We got the slipstream. I didn't want to hit anyone in the rear of the car and get a penalty for something daft, as we see that what has probably happened there to P5 is he's given the car in front a little tap and he's picked up a 1 second penalty, and that is what we're talking about. He's either done that or somehow got a track limit penalty, but it's more than likely with a 1 second that he's picked up a penalty for contact. As we're going to try and go around the outside of the Spanish driver in front of us. Can we hold it down the right? He squeezed. I don't think he realised we were there, which is all fair. I think he just thought he was past us. Going into the braking zone, trying to tuck into the inside and follow behind them. We nearly made that move straight away, putting ourselves up to P6, but we're going to gain a position straight away. You can see with P5 about to take that penalty in the penalty zone up ahead. As again, the Spanish driver has a big moment there. We're going to get a bit of a run down the right side, but however, he is picking up the slipstream from the car in front, so I don't think we're going to be able to get up the inside, but he has got a penalty. So we're up into P6 and we've got the car in front with a penalty, half-second penalty, which should drop him down to P6 and myself up into P5 by the time we get to the penalty zone. So again, 1 lap complete. Let's have a little look at the action from the replay camera. Going into turn 1, very tricky corner in these cars. You really want to get on the pound nice and early, but it's so easy to 1, run very wide and pick up a penalty, or 2, get on the throttle on that curb and spin the car. So working our way up the hill again into the heavy braking zone. Are we close enough to go for a move? No, we're not going to make any risk when we've got a car in front with a half-second penalty. Decided, yeah, there's no point doing any sort of stupid dive, and you're going to pick up a place for free anyway. So we're going to take that position now. He's going to take that penalty, and now we're up to P5. So quite a good start for myself. Kept it nice and clean, and we've gained 2 positions already in this race. And we can see in front of us, there seems to be quite a big battle going on for the lead so far. We've got P1 Nisman, I think, in P1 there, Olympic Star Jim in P2, and my team driver in P3 with VSR driver right in front of us there. We're just going to try and tuck into that slipstream, keep it nice and smooth, and maybe not really, I don't think we really have the pace there. Where I was struggling was that left-hand corner we've just gone through there. I seem to be losing a tenth or 2 every lap. Everywhere else on the track we were actually pretty solid, but losing a little bit of time through there. As we work our way down into this final right-hand corner, trying to get ourselves onto the curb to swing yourself through that final corner and finishing off line. You can see picking up that slipstream a little bit on the main straight there. Going over line, 1 minute 22, fastest lap of the race so far, but I think there's a lot of battling going on up ahead of us and behind us. We're going to skip through to lap 4, still in P5, sorry, lap 5, the end of lap 4, still in P5, following this group of cars ahead of us. You can see Nisman still in the lead, but now we've got Olympic Star Jim in P3, obviously lost that position to the My Team driver, and we've got VSR looking very, very racy in front of us, going for a move on Olympic Star Jim. He's going to go and fake that down the right, go down left hand side, and as we go through here into the braking zone, as you can see, try and make sure we take a tight line here, because I've seen him running wide and I don't know what happened there. It looked like there was some invisible force that just pushed the other car out, so obviously a bit of desync going between Olympic Star. As you see, he loses the rear, so it's obviously some delayed desync going on there as the car just gets flung off to the left hand side, the VSR driver out of that P4 position. and we're gifted another position in this race. We're up to P4 without having to do an overtake, so yeah, we'll take that. We're a third, well, just over a third, up to a third of the way through the race nearly, as we come to the end of lap 5, and we're right behind Olympic Star Jim and looking like a possible podium here. I did realise that the My Team driver did look like he had very good race pace at this combination also, so I wasn't sure that we could even push for a win, but we'll see if we can get at least a podium in this race. Let's see if we can pressurise Olympic Star Jim into some sort of mistake somewhere, as he will not be getting that slipstream also from the cars in front. He looks like he's a little bit too far back, so we're going to have the advantage of being able to pick up a bit of a draft on the main straight. Obviously he's going to have a bit more grip through the corners, but we're going to have a bit more straight line speed to possibly go for a move on the main straight. So let's have a little look now, trying to make sure we get a nice solid exit from turn 1 to see if we can pick up that draft down the main straight. So lining the car up, hitting the curb nicely there, and P3, you can see Olympic Star Jim goes very wide out of that corner. That's surely going to be some sort of penalty. If not a penalty, he's going to have extremely dirty tyres. But it doesn't look like the games give a penalty, and this is the inconsistency in the penalties again. But I knew that he'd have very, very dirty tyres with the line that he took through there. So I did a little cut back, go up the inside, and we do a nice little overtake to put ourselves up into P3 in this race. And now we've got a bit of a gap also where he struggled for traction. So let's see if we can push on now and break that slipstream and give ourselves maybe some gap. You see there, we're going to skip through to lap 9 and we're in the lead of this race. Now this is a false lead because the drivers who were in P1 and P2 pitted the lap before myself. I decided to extend and do one extra lap on the medium tyres. Now the mediums are warm, but they felt like they could still do a pretty solid lap. Now I did maybe I think the last half of this lap felt a little bit scruffy because the tyres were starting to fade off a little bit too much. Maybe I should have pitted the lap before, but I just didn't want to get into any traffic. So yeah, going into the pits, doing a little bit of a cut there, got very lucky that we managed to save that, as we're now going to put them hard tyres on for the single stop strategy. Just a one stop strategy here. We're going to do one stint on the mediums, now we're going to put the hard tyre on and go all the way to the end on the hard tyres. Where will we come out now? As we exit the pits, we can see P1 there going up the main straight. He's going to have a massive momentum out of there, and we see P2 also well and truly into P2. Now we're going to have to defend though from P4, as we've got Stefanti now right behind us picking up the slipstream. I'm not sure if he's already pitted or whether he's pitted really early or what sort of strategy he's on, but we're going to defend this on the inside, brake a little bit later, give ourselves room to brake and stop the car and get on the power nice and early. You can see a bit of extra traction out of the corner as well. Makes me think that he must not have pitted yet, must be on very, very warm medium tyres, as we got so much more traction out of that corner and now into the braking zone. Can we make sure we stop this car nice and early to make sure that we're not compromised into this area here? You see behind us in the mirror, you can see that a move was made on Stefanti there. This is good. We managed to get ahead of all that battling. This was a perfect pit exit really. We just about hold on to P3, and now we've got cars behind that will be battling for position, so we can push on, keep it nice and consistent, try and avoid the penalties. It was so important at this combination not to pick up any penalties, because it was quite half second a second here, so easy to pick up out of the final corner and through turn 1. It could really hurt you with your losing positions and putting you into that traffic. So into this final corner again, trying to make sure we stay smooth and not run too far wide. You can see how I'm not overdriving the car really, we're just keeping it nice and smooth. You can see we've got that gap up to 1.3 seconds to P4, and we managed to keep that pretty much all the way through the race. You can see we actually extended the lead to nearly 6 seconds to P4, and we pretty much stayed static to Nisman. I think he did increase the gap to about 2.7, but then we started reeling back in a bit, and yeah, the pace was too equal between myself and Nisman to really fight for any sort of getting ourselves into P2. We were pretty much matching each other lap for lap, so yeah, I pretty much gave up on overdriving the car. I decided just to keep it pretty safe, avoid the penalties, and get ourselves a solid podium. And after the day we had had on this race, I can tell you that it was quite nice to get a podium, because we hadn't really had the best of days. Qualifying hadn't really gone very well, so coming away with a P3, if we can manage to hold this on the track all the way to the end without getting a penalty. We've got a nice big gap to P4, you can see over 6 seconds now, so we don't really need to worry about losing a bit of pace if we take it nice and easy. You can see Nisman, I think, doing the same thing. Doesn't need to overdrive the car. He's not going to catch P1. P1 has built himself up quite a nice little lead, 4 seconds ahead of Nisman and 6 seconds ahead of myself. So a great drive by the My Team driver. Nisman's going to pick up the P2 position by the looks of it in this race as we go through the final corners. And yeah, it was a bit of a static end to the race. It started quite entertaining. We made up some positions with people making mistakes, but then it was a really static race after that, just staying, keeping the gap very close in this, man, as we go over the line for a solid P3. Pretty happy with that. You can see the gaps, you can see a reasonable finishing time considering we started in P7 as well. We did make some mistakes. The consistency was not as good, I don't think, as with the P1 rim, but it was our first race with it. I'm actually starting to really enjoy the Formula rim now, the F1 Esports rim I'm using. Starting to really like using that, so I don't know if I'm going to carry on using it. It's a hard one. We'll have to give it some testing between the two to see which one I prefer. But yeah, we come away with 333 points, so some solid points, a podium. I'm pretty happy at the game 4 places. So I hope you enjoyed that quick highlights video. It was just a short one for this one because I didn't want to just watch myself driving around solo for 6-7 laps. Just wanted to give you a quick update on that race if you didn't get to see it live. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.